for that. Thank you to all the members for your patience. We'll be able to work through the agenda here, I imagine, pretty efficiently. Opening remarks, we do have a quorum. With a reduced number of members, our quorum is now 4, so it looks like we have 5 in attendance. With that, there will be, currently we have the Bloomington representative that's vacant, and we also had Jim Kern, who had resigned his position. So we have 2 vacant positions. We have individuals selected or to go before the county board here this month, I believe. Is that right, Tony? So hopefully at the end of the month here for our next meeting, we will be back to a full board. So with that, like I said, we have established a quorum. We've got a few items for action here. The first one is the approval of the minutes. Hard to believe we're approving minutes back from May, but it is kind of an odd year. So if anybody has any additions, I would entertain that. If not, I would accept a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those, I don't have visual on everybody, so we'll just take a verbal vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any member opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Mr. Clintworth is not available, so I will do my best to cover some of the financials that everybody should have received. You have the financials for July and September. Those were presented. You also have the updated budget summaries during that time. Looks like overall we have a fund balance of $3,509,689.09, which is just over a $13,000 increase or surplus over what we had in July. Tony, is there anything specific or out of the ordinary you would like to comment on reference to financials?
The only thing that I would like to mention, it's not reflected in any documentation that we currently have. We just received from the state a check that's part of our reimbursement grant, where we purchased all the equipment for the new phone system. Not all of it, but a portion of the equipment. And we did receive a check for, I believe, somewhere around $216,000. I don't know right off the top of my head, but at any rate, that's been put into the hopper, and at our next meeting, that'll be reflected in our documentation. So the main thing was that we got it, and I was always a little bit concerned of getting it, but we did get it, so we're in pretty good shape there.
Is that tracking about where we were at this time last year, Tony, or are you seeing any degradation in the receipt of those funds because of COVID or anything like that?
No, we're on our surcharge payments. We're on track. We're where we were last year, so that's all good at this point.
Okay, all right. Any other board member have any questions reference to financials? Hearing nothing further, I would accept a motion to approve.
I'll move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Motion by the sheriff, seconded by Chief Cornwall. All those in favor signify by verbal sign aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? All right, financials are approved. Moving on to the next item is the approval of the 2021 ETSB budget. Glenn Wilson's the chair of the budget committee, and Glenn, I don't know if you have opening comments or if you would like to cover this, or if you would like Tony to walk through the items that you have here and then provide any follow-up.
Thanks, Chief. The only thing I would say is an opening comment. The committee met, I'm trying to remember now, it's probably been about a month or so ago to review the budget, and We wanted to share that with you, Tony. I think in the past, you've stepped us through the budget. Maybe if you could help us with focusing on those items that were a significant change from the previous year, that would be much appreciated.
Absolutely. The good thing is we always have a pretty small budget in terms of the number of line items to look at, so this shouldn't take very long, but I'm just going to point out a few things. And then if any board member has any questions about any of the line items, let me know and I'll answer them for you. But really what I want to point out is that overall our contribution to Metcom this next year is going to go down 1%. It's actually going down for all of the three entities that contribute to the Metcom fund. We were able to lower expenses on the Metcom side, and that's kind of nice for us to be able to do that and still meet our needs. So our that part was down 1%. The only other things that I want to point out that's new, I have requested some safety lighting for the ETSB car that Brandon drives when he's out in the county doing his measuring. We felt it's necessary to add some lighting to it so that he's a little bit more visible, make him a little bit safe. And we're able to get that done for $1,000. So that's in the budget. As you'll see down at our telephone service line item, the 795-0003, that is down 35%. And of course, that is due to us changing vendors, moving away from Frontier and getting with InDigital, getting all of the telephone service away from Frontier and into this new vendor is going to save us a tremendous amount of money. And that's very helpful. The only other thing that I wanted to point out is you'll notice that we have a 100% decrease in the 832 line item, which last year which is this year, obviously, we purchased the new workstations for the dispatch floor, the new consoles. So that's obviously not in the budget for 2021, which reduced that by quite a bit there as well. But anything else that anybody has any questions about, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions for Tony or for Glenn? All right. I would just say I'd thank the committee for their work and Tony for your work on that. If there's no further discussion, I would accept a motion to approve the 2021 budget.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. All right, budget is approved. Do apologize. I had taken things a little bit out of order there, but I was just so anxious to get that budget approved. So the director's reports, Tony, if we can back up to that number 4 on the agenda and have you cover those.
Sure. Everybody should have received a copy of the reports that I prepare and that Brandon prepares. Brandon is on vacation this week, so we decided we probably ought to give him a little bit of time off. He's been working extremely hard. He definitely deserves time off. He deserves a lot more, actually, which I think we'll discuss in a future meeting. But at this point, anyway, we do have the reports. If anybody has any questions about anything, I can certainly answer what I prepared. If there's any questions on what Brandon prepared, we can get those to him. And then when he returns to work, he can send an email out to the full board and let them know what those answers are. But I don't believe there's anything really out of the ordinary. I can tell you that during the process of working with the new vendor, we've had a lot of test calls being made. So the number of abandons looks a little bit higher than it normally does, but that's mostly attributed to the fact that we've been doing a lot of testing, and we're probably going to see that for the remainder of the year. So that number is going to be a little bit higher than it normally is.
Tony, when you say abandon, are you talking about the 911 hangups? Because I noticed it was like almost 200 from May and June to July and August.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, the 911 hangups.
Okay,
Some of them are going to be just more for unknown reasons, but there's a good number that Brandon has told me was due to the testing.
gotcha.
On that front, Tony, how is that transitioning going with the new vendor?
Brandon has been working very hard on getting things set up. I know he's got a schedule in place to start making changes. We've had personnel on site installing equipment. I can't give you an actual date that we're looking for a cutover. I do know that we're slated for dispatcher training as far as using the new equipment. That's scheduled for November. I know that we're trying to coincide some of this with the installation of the new furniture. We will be moving dispatchers off the dispatch floor into our alternate location, which is formerly known as the boardroom. And that's going to take place the second week in November. Get the new furniture delivered by the first week of December and get that installed. At the same time, the new equipment will be installed. So, you know, we should be completely live at the end of the year with everything, barring any hiccups.
Yeah, got it. Okay, good to hear. Any other questions from board members for Director Cannon? All right. Hearing anything or hearing nothing different, the next item is just the announcement of the next meeting, which is November 24th, which that's the week of Thanksgiving, I think, a couple days before Thanksgiving. So obviously just be attentive when Patsy puts out that reminder or whatever, just let her know so we can make sure we've got a quorum or if we need to move the meeting. So with that, I'll turn to board member comments. Is there anyone who has anything for the good of the order? All right, hearing nothing. Public comment. Patsy, do we have anybody from the public that has shown up who wants to comment? Excellent. All right. Tony, anything additional before we convene or before we adjourn?
I have nothing else.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, hearing nothing additional, then this meeting will be adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Appreciate it. And then we had a few little hiccups at the beginning, but we worked everything out. So appreciate it. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.